The MadCat Prime's weapons, 2 medium lasers, 2 large lasers, 1 PPC, and 1 LRM-15, means that it's best suited out to long-range support, where out on the outskirts of combat you can just lay in occasional pot shots. Okay, don't take this mech into close range because the 2 medium lasers aren't really enough to defend itself very well. Also, this mech runs kind of hot, so you have to be really careful when you're playing this mech. Another good reason to stay out in the long range where you have time to cool down and place your shots better.
I've got to say that the MadCat Prime suffers from the same problems as most MadCats, in that it has the shape that attracts lots of fire, and the MadCat Prime is also very heavily armed and hot, so it's not the greatest mech out there.
When I would pick the Vulture Prime, when I'm away from you, you keep your opponent away from you as long as you can, so you can work them with the missiles, which cause a lot of damage, and then start working them up close with the mediums and smalls.
And what would you use the V1?
V1 is quite...
The MadCat 1 has an AFC 50. It's the only MadCat with an AFC, and it's a pretty good sniper mech from the outside. The problem is once the AFC runs out of ammunition, it's pretty much worthless.
Once again, another mech with energy weapons and long-range missiles. MadCats, by far and large, to me, are not infighting mechs. You need to get on the outside. MadCat 2 possesses a different caliber of long-range missile and energy weapons. It to me is an outside fighting mech, but up against another mech with similar weapons such as a Vulture, it won't last that long.
The MadCat 2 is the exact same thing as a Vulture 1, except it's a MadCat, not a Vulture. If you're going to take a MadCat 2, take a Vulture 1 instead.
MadCat 3, that's a fast mech. It has a bunch of medium lasers, and the cool thing about that mech is that it's fast, so you can run in, shoot a lot, and then run out without having to worry too much about heat. You can also bomb from a long distance with the LRMs, and then run away again.
My mech of choice, the MadCat 3. It's really fast, it's really annoying, and it's pretty simple to take care of. It doesn't have a heat problem. You can really annoy people with it, and it takes a lot more talent to pilot a MadCat than it does to do a Loki.
Okay, the Vulture Prime is a good mech that if you're in battle and you can stay long distances away. And the good thing is that it has LRM-20s, so you can alternate, because each LRM-20 spins them.
When I would pick the Vulture Prime, if I know I'm going to have clear conditions, or at least 850, take advantage of those missiles. LRM 10 pack or 15 pack, I forget which. You get the distance on them. You want to be able to get a good distance away because it's going to make up for the speed that it lacks. Because they have machine guns, you have to. Your best advantage would be to keep them away from you. You keep your opponent away from you as long as you can, so you can work them with the missiles, which cause a lot of damage, and then start working them up close with the mediums and smalls.
The Vulture 1 actually is a decent mech. It goes 118. It has the ability to keep things off of it. It does have a 600-meter spin shot, which is very useful, and it's good long-range mech.
Vulture 1 is a very nice mech. It has 2 machine guns, 2 mediums, 2 smalls, 2 larges, and 2 LRM-15 packs. It basically typifies what the Vulture is, which is a nice long-range missile mech, and the 2 medium, smalls, and machine guns also give it a little power inside, so it's a nice, good all-around mech to go with.
The Vulture 2 is a nice medium mech. It's right in the middle. It has a heat problem with its energy weapon, so when I run it, I just turn off the 2 smalls and leave a complete energy shot with both mediums and the large. That gives me a spin in either an arm or a leg, and then I put the missiles on one trigger and machine guns on the other. Keep the machine guns to defend yourself if something big comes in close, and that's about it. It does run pretty hot though, so be careful because the LRM-10s reload faster than the LRM-15s on the Vulture 1.
use it when its speed and acceleration can be useful. Pea Soup Fog, I mean, it's got just about the fastest speed around there at 151 kph, and it's got a heck of a lot of short-term punch with its 4 machine guns, although it does tend to run out soon. Use it where you can dodge in and out of buildings really, really quickly and then hammer someone from behind and get away. Definitely. Pea Soup Fog or a Ring City format would be pretty good for that.
The Vulture 3 is a nice beginner mech. It runs really cool. It's a good mech to learn heat on. Its one limitation is once you run out of ammo, you are really messed up. The best way to run it, I find, is to split the machine guns off on one trigger, the SRMs off on another, and the mediums on a third. That way you can keep rotating through all 3 weapons, breaking up your damage. It's a nice, fun, fast mech. Beware of taking it in maps that are really tight, like Urbana and Light City. You'll be tripping over everything.
The favorite Vulture is probably the Vulture 4 because of the number of missiles it can volley off at any one time. Even playing with heat, you're launching 6 SRM-6s at a time. You're doing 148 points worth of damage, 144 points worth of damage. That's an awesome amount of damage to do at any one volley.
The Vulture 4 is a great distance mech if you're fighting around the outside. Usually you will, in the higher level veteran games, you will find a clump of Lokis and Thors doing a dance of death around the inside. If you get into Vulture 4, you can usually waltz around the outside, taking your pot shots into the center. And of course you always have machine guns to back you up if someone does get too close. They're great if you're in a points game.
The advantages to the Vulture 5 are that it's got lots of missiles to do a large amount of damage to your opponents. However, the disadvantage is that it's very, very slow. Another disadvantage in some respects is the fact that it has lots of armor, so once you run out, it'll take a long time and you'll lose a lot of points before you get killed. So.
It's very slow, so that it does need a lot of protection, but it does have an incredible amount of armor. It's one of the heaviest armored mechs around, and so it would be a very good fire support mech and long-range mech, especially with its 4 banks of LRM-15s on it. So it's a very effective long-range support mech, not a close-in combat mech.